Claude Code. I've been hearing a lot about Claude Code lately. Everybody's saying how good it is, it's the best, it's the newest, coolest kid on the block. But can somebody like me use it? Today I'm going to spend $20 in an afternoon to see, is Claude Code really worth all the hype? I'm beginning to understand all of the hype now. Is there value that I can find from this tool that is really meant for more professional engineers? But I got insight into the world that's opening up. So this one is a little bit more technical than what I usually do. But if you're just kind of curious to see what Claude Code can do and why everybody is talking about it, then this is definitely the video for you. Okay, real quick. What even is Claude Code? Claude Code is the most recent release from Anthropic. It is their command line interface coding tool. This means it is an AI-powered coding tool that you can run in a terminal window, right at the command line. It's got just the best coding model by all accounts. I mean, just look at the benchmarks. I have coded before, but it has been decades and no UI experience. So for this one, I did need to get a little bit of advice from somebody who knows what they're doing in this space. I started out trying a couple things to see what a newbie could do and quickly realized I needed a little help. So this video is not a thorough review of Claude, but it is kind of a walkthrough of what you can do as sort of an intermediate user, and especially an intermediate user who has access to somebody with a little bit more knowledge. Okay, so I don't even have an account with Claude to start out with. So I'm going to install it and see what this thing can do. So the difference between, I could get a free account and I can generate code and do all the usual AI stuff with it. But if I go for the $20 plan, I can use the Claude Code command line interface in my terminal. And it does a bunch of other connection stuff, which I don't need yet, but I do have a couple of ideas. If this goes well, then hopefully I could put those to use as well. This thing here about more usage, I believe if you are on the free plan and you want to use Claude to code with, you pay sort of per token. You pay as you go. Every back and forth you're paying for. But with the $20 a month plan, it'll stop at some point and say, you've hit your limit. So I do get, Claude Pro offers at least 5 times the usage compared to our free service score. And your message limit will reset every 5 hours. Ooh, that's kind of awesome. All right, to install Claude Code, use npm. Sort of vaguely understand what this is doing, and I'm going to say good enough. So you just copy this and run it in a terminal. I'm going to assume for the sake of argument that we all understand terminal well enough to use it, but probably not well enough to have mastered it. And that's okay, right? npm not found. All right, we had a brief break there where I retrieved all my missing files from my old laptop, moved them over to my new laptop, and then my screen was not recording correctly. But I did get Claude Code installed exactly the way they said it would, and then I just typed in Claude to fire it up, and here it is. Let's go with light mode. That looks good. Claude Code. So here right away it's telling you, you can either use it with your Claude subscription or bill it based on API usage. And the whole reason I got the $20 plan was so that I could just use it with the subscription. So it's apparently going to ask you for access to everything. I believe we are up and running. Because I think it is against the law not to, let's start a Hello World app. And I'm going to use Super Whisper instead of typing. Can you create a simple web app that displays Hello World and maybe has a button that when I push it gives us a small fireworks display? Thanks. All right. Oh, and you can see the token count going up, making a to-do list. All right, and then it asks if it should create index.html. For now, we're just going to hit yes. Behold, our first Claude Code project. Okay, it was maybe slightly anticlimactic, but I will take it. All right, that's great. And of course, my first inclination is to make the fireworks bigger and maybe more explosive, but that's not actually why I'm here. So here's what I'm thinking. I, like many people, work at a desk all day, and if I really get kind of into the flow, I get stuck and I will look up and realize 3 hours have gone by and I haven't moved, and my neck is kind of aching or my back is sore. I feel like this just can't be healthy. So I really just want a glorified Pomodoro timer. I am thinking more like a 60-minute timer and then sort of a button that says, I'm taking a break. Yeah? Okay. There's maybe more to it, but for now, that's like, if I can get there, I will call that successful for today. Let's just give it a shot and see. All right, I want to create a brand new app now. This is a simple timer app. I want it to be a web app that, as soon as I launch it, starts counting up and has a visible timer on the screen. And as soon as it hits 60 minutes, the visible timer should turn red and it should send an alert to me to let me know that 60 minutes has passed and it's time for me to stand up and move a little bit. So this app then would also need two buttons, maybe one button to pause the timer, and I want that button maybe to be labeled like I'm standing up now or I'm taking a break, and then another button to reset it, which would reset the timer at 0 and start counting up again, so I could repeat this multiple times throughout the day. What you got? All right, and I am keeping it purposely extremely simple with a web app and just a couple buttons. I don't really know what I'm asking for some of the time, but I think this is something it can handle. And I do love that it is creating a plan and showing me the plan. Back to Claude. I'll create a standing break timer app for you. Let me plan this out first. Here it is creating its to-do list. And here we go. All right, do we want to create this? Why, yes. Yes, I do. And it is cooking. All right, standing timer. Open that with Arc. All right, so I love the kind of slumped over lady here. The timer has fired up. You know, strategic error. I want to test this. I should have maybe said less than 60 minutes because now I have to wait 60 minutes to test it. I can test reset. That worked. I can say I'm standing up now. Nice. Timer paused. Resume. I mean, that all works really well. So I'm a little speechless because that, after spending an hour getting my environment set up, that took me like, what, 3 minutes to code? Well, I say me. That took Claude 3 minutes, and most of that was me talking. Wow, I didn't not expect it to work that well. For testing's sake, let's change the time. Can you change the timer from 60 minutes to 2 minutes so that I can test it? I'm gonna keep everything else the same though. Awesome, so it is changing total seconds from 3,600 to 120. Let's fire that up again. All right, so ideally this is working. We'll know in a couple of minutes. If you know anything about coding, you know that it was pretty typical that the fact that it took me an hour to get my environment set up correctly and then 3 minutes to do the actual thing I came in to do, yeah, that's pretty much par for the course. So be back in a minute. All right, the moment of truth. This page says, time to stand up. Okay, I love that. Oh, but wait, where'd my screen go? Oh no. All right, looks like we got a little work to do. So that didn't quite work. When the pop-up pops up, it closes the browser window behind. So let's real quickly, let's see if Claude can help with that. That's a pretty good start, but when the alert pops up, the window behind it closes. So I am not getting a chance to see the timer turning red. So I would like an alert that is not necessarily a pop-up, maybe just a message pops up on the window with the timer on it. And I want the timer to continue counting up in red. I understand. You want to replace the browser alert pop-up with an in-window notification. Let me modify the current HTML file to show an overlay image instead of a pop-up alert. All right, so that is saying, it's fixed it. Let's try that again. Time to stand up. Okay, there's a pop-up. The background window is still there. It is red. Okay, so that's better. I do like that. Good enough for now. I'm standing up, reset. All right, that is a success. That is what I wanted. That is what I asked for. But I think we can stretch Claude just a little bit. And by stretching Claude, I really mean stretching myself. I had a quick discussion with my design engineering team, AKA my husband, and he had some recommendations of how to upgrade this away from it being just a page in a browser to how to make it a standalone app. And he gave me some recommendations. So let's give that a shot and see what we can do. First thing we want to do is put Claude in planning mode. And I believe that is Shift Tab. All right, so you keep cycling through Shift Tab. We want plan mode on. And so we want to say something along the lines of, I would like to change this away from being an HTML page into a typical web app design using React and Vite. I'd like to use a UI component library like MUI, the material UI, follow standard design system practices, and don't hard code styles. It does not need to maintain the styling that it has now. We really want modular components that are testable. We want to be able to run unit tests on these. Theoretically, what I've asked for is a more standalone app architecture using React and Vite, which I sort of understand. React is a framework, Vite is a sort of interpreter, very sort of, and we want kind of standardized user interface components so that everything will have a similar look and feel. This is sort of more if I were to develop this into a bigger project for maximum reusability down the road. All right, so Claude has come back and said, would you like to proceed? Yes or no, keep planning. This is a good opportunity for me to read the plans, partly so I could kind of understand what it thinks I'm saying in case it either missed something I said or if I said something incorrect. But also, this gives me an opportunity to learn what Claude, the senior engineer, is planning to do. And so if I can kind of follow along behind Claude, I can learn a little bit too. Claude is creating a comprehensive plan to transform the HTML timer into a modern React and Vite app with MUI. Create a MUI theme with consistent color palette. Excellent. Progress indicator component. Nice. I did quite like the progress indicator. I didn't ask for that, but if I'd thought about it, I would have. Notification hooks. Testing strategy. So this is creating unit tests so it can kind of test each individual piece. All right, so as far as I can tell, and I can tell really nothing, this looks good. And my belief is this is going to go and start installing code that we need and basically rebuilding our application for us. So it's asking if it can do an npm create, install base dependencies, yes. Now I could just go ahead and say yes, just yes to everything. I'm just curious to see what it's running, but realistically, I probably would just say do yes to all, let it run in the background, and I could kind of go do something else. I do see an error up here. No idea if it is taking care of that. I'm going to say I hope so, but we will probably find out. All right, so just about 4 minutes in and 14,000 tokens later, it is still chugging away. So this is clearly a much more intensive coding process than what we asked for previously. And I love that it shows where it's at. It's working its list, checking off the boxes as it goes, and you can see we're down to just about 5 left. All right, looks like we are testing, which is crazy to me. So Claude has gone off and built this tool and I think is testing it before I've even seen the thing in action. So let me take a moment here and really point out what Claude is doing. I said to Claude, here is the tool I would like. And it basically took what I handed to it and acted like a senior engineer and just said, great, I'll take that. I will go design it. I will go code it. I will go test it before I come back to you with a finished product. That's like what a person would do. I, sort of expected the vibe coding, like, here you go, here's what you asked for. Why don't you try it out? Good luck. Let me know what can be changed, what you want different, what I didn't really get right. But presumably this is kind of taken all of the steps necessary to build and test a finished product before delivering it back to me. That's kind of amazing. I'm beginning to understand all of the hype now, I think. All right, so now it is saying it's done. Do I want it to start the development server? So yes, please. Tests are mostly working, but there are some timeout issues with the app tests and a few minor failures. Let me try running the app to see if it works in the browser first. That's amazing. Great, the development server is running successfully. Wow. All right, my terminal is pinging me. Hold on there, wait a sec. All right, perfect. I've successfully transformed your HTML standing timer into a full-blown React application with modern development practices. Testing coverage, it is ready for GitHub. The app now has the same core functionality as your original HTML version, but with modern React architecture. All right, so what is it asking me to do? Start development, npm run dev. This will start the server, I think. Oh, so it looks like it's probably already running. All right, so we want to go take a look. This is me stabbing around, really not knowing what I'm doing. So it looks like the server is running. I don't know how to view it. Tests are running, but there are some issues. The app itself works perfectly in the browser. How do I see it running in the browser? The development server is already running. You can view the app in your browser by opening this URL. Try that again. So that's a little frustrating. Apparently the server's running, but I can't see it in the browser, and I have no idea why, or if I'm even trying to view it the right way. I cannot see anything on that URL. All right, it's going to kill any Vite processes, and then it's going to start over again. I don't know if that means it's doing something or if it just thinks it's doing something and it's waiting on me. Try building the app to check for errors. Sure. Okay, we're getting somewhere. React is declared, but its value is never read. This is not fully done yet. This still needs a human intervention to kind of say, doesn't seem to be working from my end. Are you sure this is working? Could you check again to see if this is working? Because clearly it's not quite working. All right, try building again. All right, so I think it's fixing. It says it's fixing. Do I want to build again? Yes, I would love for you just to keep fixing and building and fixing and building as long as it takes. TypeScript configuration is too strict. Hey, you can't see it? Success, at least of a sort. First things first, let's just let this run for a couple minutes and see if it will alert me and also go into the red. Interestingly, it does look like it kept basically the styling of the previous one. All right, let's see. All right, time to stand up. That's a good pop-up. Okay, good. In my head, I had sort of the vision of every defined period of time, it will pop up another message. So if it went through the first 60 seconds of time, I would get a pop-up message. If I ignored it and just let it run, after another hour, I would get another pop-up message. My thinking being, if I missed my first standing break because I was just really in the zone doing something, I kind of want to continue to be alerted of like, hey, it's been a while, maybe think about moving. All right, so maybe I want to try just a couple more quick fixes if I can before I run out of my allotted afternoon time. And let's go back to Claude. Okay, this is pretty good. I do have one change. Since the timer is a 1-minute timer, I need that pop-up to pop up after the first minute, but then if the timer has not been paused or reset, I need the pop-up to continue to pop up after the second minute and the third minute. And in other words, after every minute of time has elapsed, I need that pop-up to pop up and remind the user that another period of time has elapsed and they really need to go take a break. All right, awesome. Hopefully this is a simple and quick fix. Okay, so clearly not a simple little fix. All right, proceed, yes. All right, here we go again. Here we go. Another minute has passed. Time to stand up and move around. Okay, good. Now we just want another one of those. Nice. All right, that is awesome. And now if I said I'm standing up, reset the timer, and the status bar has reset. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. That is, that's definitely as I designed it. I think I have gotten what I wanted out of this project today. All right, so some takeaways. This is not a beginner-friendly tool, at least not in the sense that some of the vibe coding got really hyped up as, oh, kids can use this and you can do single shot applications and, you know, go build yourself a little game or a tutorial. This is not exactly that, but I mean, it could be. You could use it like you saw. I built a very simple web page and it worked just perfect out of the gate. And it is incredibly powerful. It is beginner friendly in the sense that if you are trying to teach yourself or trying to learn, this tool would be fantastic for that because you can just ask it to do stuff, and even if it's broken, you can ask it to fix it. It kind of explains to you what was broken and what it's changing. So if you're trying to follow along, you could use this really to learn quite a bit. But you do need a little bit of that sort of outside boost of help if this is not already in your wheelhouse. That said, this thing is amazing. I was not sure what to expect when I came in here. I wanted to try it out because, like I said, the hype machine has this as just the most amazing piece of AI tech that we've seen yet, which is, you know, saying something because every week is the most amazing piece of AI tech we've seen. But I think I'm beginning to just glimpse what developers are actually saying about this. It's not just that this is doing things that would have taken them weeks or months to do on their own. It's that you can give it a task and it goes off, completes the task. It really is giving you that full rounded engineer experience. It's trying to deliver a product back to you that has been planned and tested. Now, it wasn't perfect, and having worked as a developer, I will say that sometimes things are delivered that aren't perfect. But the fact that it then goes back in, runs its tests that it's already planned out, and can go identify problems and go fix them and deliver it back to you, I was not prepared for that. So, yeah. So was this worth it? To me, yes. As an experiential explainer, this was 100% worth it. I think it's not that I got an app that was worth $20, but I got insight into the world that's opening up. And that was definitely worth $20. And I obviously now I have the ability to go back and use this a little bit more and maybe create some other apps and refine my understanding a little bit over time. I get what all the hype is about now. And I used it for an afternoon. So weirdly enough, I think the hype machine is accurate. Much the same as many other AI subscription models, there are several other features in Claude that I now have access to because of the plan that I just subscribed to. And I am kind of curious to go take a look at those because I have not used anything from Anthropic before. I haven't used Claude. I haven't even used their free AI chat yet. So I am kind of interested to see what they have and how it compares to my two main go-tos are Google Gemini and OpenAI ChatGPT. So it's always good to have another one in the stable and just go take a look around and poke under the hood and see what other tricks it might have up its sleeve. So if I find anything interesting, I will definitely be reporting back to you. So that was definitely a journey. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got a little bit of insight into what exactly this tool can do. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.